rumors, the streets are saying, right, that the Lakers are watching closely AD and Bron because they're basically auditioning to see if the Lakers are going to make a move, right, so that they could get even more powerful to make a real legit run at winning the title. If you're the Lakers, do you stand pat?
For a minute and a half in this fourth quarter. Here's Cole. And too much time in the lane. They get called for the 3-second violation. Bulls trail by 5. We're about 2 minutes into the fourth quarter in this one. Hastings no good. The Heat shooting 43% from the field. Here's Cole, guarded by Jordan. It's blocked.
The length of Cartwright, 7'1", disruptive.
Count it.
For his size, he is an elite shooter.
And he'll beat you from multiple spots on the floor, including the mid-range.
Offensive rebound. Kicks it out to Grant. A three-pointer off the mark. And so it's Smith with it. He'll bring it up for the Heat. They've held a 12-point lead early. Coles can't hit.
And he was able to get a pretty good look right at the rim. Just unable to convert that time.
And let's get your take, guys, on the scoring breakdown for Miami.
Taking advantage of what the defense is giving them, the mid-range, and they're happy to take it.
And I love the fact they kept the pressure on, really pushing that ball, running it up the floor. I love seeing that. A team staying aggressive even when they're playing well.
Points, assists, rebounds, defense. Scottie Pippen gives your team all of that. Every team in the league wants a guy like him.
And both free throws good for Pippen.
He's basically automatic from the line, not the guy you want to send there now.
And there's the foul. It's on the franchise. And that'll be his third foul. So
that's my thing. You can stop
the next foul will put them in the penalty.
You have to be careful now. You don't want to give away 3 points at the line.
Fourth quarter keeps moving right along. 3 minutes gone so far. Here's Rice, defended by Pippen. And a lot of contact on that one, so he'll shoot 2 here.
Rice's activity on offense, outstanding. So good at getting the defense to get out of position and able to draw the foul.
So the first one drops, and that increases their lead to 6.
If you do what you're supposed to do, neither of those guys get the opportunity. Both of them, ultimately that's as aggressive offensive game. Cameron is an aggressive defense. You're in between now. So you gotta play with energy.
And a tough break is his second attempt at the line. No good.
Well, you look at Glenn Rice, and he's a versatile offensive weapon from the perimeter or pretty much anywhere on the court. He can find his point.
Smart basketball. Getting fouled in the act. That is a winning play.
Good on the first, and that brings them within 5. Good on both.
Well, that time he made the most of that trip to the line and cuts the deficit.
Pass to Long. Now Smith, guarded by Jordan. Here's Rice. Back to Smith. Like it's 6. Set the pick. Here's Coles. Off target with his 3. Bulls trail by 4. Here's Jordan. Kicks it out to Grant. Here's Hastings. And again, Chicago. No good. Here's Coles. Here's Rice. Hastings grabs the board.
Got the look he wanted. Sometimes it just doesn't go down.
Pass to Jordan. Over Smith. Here's Cartwright. Back to Jordan. Over Smith. Will not go. This is off the front eye. A basket here, Coach Pacello would give them some breathing space.
No need to hurry. Take the best shot.
he passes to Cole.
You know, every second is crucial at this point. They need a quick bucket for sure.
Then they can try for a steal on the inbounds, but if they don't get it, foul immediately.
Now that is how you come through when it matters most.
He has ice in his veins. Biggest shot of the game, and he converts.
I expect, Clark, they'll take their time here.
Yeah, every second that ticks away plays to their advantage.
Here's Rice. From the arc. Again, the miss by the Heat. The Bulls call timeout. Thoughts on what Coach wants to do here?
I think you attack the rim here. Get the ball close to the goal, and that way...
Here we go again. Here we go again. I need it.
He swipes the ball away again. And so the big win by Miami in a tight game. And that about wraps it up for this broadcast of the NBA Eastern Conference Finals. For Mike Fratello, Clark Kellogg, and David Aldridge, and our entire 2K crew, this is Kevin Harlan thanking you for tuning in. Well, folks, here we go. Game 4 of the NBA playoffs, postseason action right here. Welcome to 2K Sports. Our game tonight featuring the Chicago Bulls as they go up against the Miami Heat here in Miami. With Mike Fratello and Clark Kellogg, I'm Kevin Harlan. And we've got David Aldridge reporting in from the sidelines. It'll be the
I know I've sat here, and you and I probably had conversations in the past and said, hey, I mean, a couple years ago, we were probably saying, he can't go a couple more years, can he? What do you make of what he's doing right now? And if you want to give a prediction of how much longer you think he can do this for, especially at this level, you can feel free to do so.
Heat off the tip.
I don't think LeBron knows. So, I mean, I'm sure he's got private thoughts and had private conversations with his closest people about what he thinks. But,
Pass to Rice. Smith with it. He's defended by Jordan. 6 to shoot. Rice, no good.
Boy, they dodged one right there.
Yeah, he won't miss a look that wide open.
He's getting the attention he should do. He
Cartwright to
deserves
pass to Hastings.
absolutely phenomenal. And I think
Hastings got the first 3
looking
points
at
of
the
the night
changes
up
in
on the
his
board
game
for the Bulls.
at this age. I
And
mean,
the team first
as everybody
attitude of
knows,
Cartwright.
he was
Wanting
really
to get it to his open guys.
When it comes to three-point shooters being generous, he was a below-average three-point shooter for literally decades. I mean, I can say that
Here's
sentence
Rice.
and it not be
Launches
untrue
it.
for decades.
It's good from long range.
And over the last
Threes
couple
are
of years,
falling. They
I think
answer
when you
back
watch
from
him
distance.
play, it's
This
fairly
is
obvious
modern
that he
basketball. You gotta
doesn't
have
get
that long
wide
distance
like he used to. Now look, he can still get the corner from him, and if you are late on
Here in the
rotation,
first,
he
a
will
little
finish
over
in your
minute played
face.
so
He will
far.
stuff it down. He can still get the screen and get from the three-point line to the rim in good speed, but he's not able to beat people off the dribble the way he used to be. And that has a major impact in his game. You've seen his free throw shooting, his free throws drawn, for example, really come down. And you see that a lot of times. And so what he's done, Alan, is that he's developed into an excellent three-point shooter. Last year he shot, I think, 41-ish% or 40%, which is excellent. 40% in the NBA, you will be worth, $100 million.
It's stolen.
If you shoot 40%.
Boy, textbook execution on the double team. No problem stripping the ball away.
Pass to Cole.
I think he shot 40% once in his career. I think
And that one is hammered home.
We know Rice is a shooter, but he's got some athleticism too, showing you some force as well.
And that was just because he was very strong efficiency. It was a different NBA.
Let's hit 5 from 18. And that one goes
he does it
wrong.
again. And this
Ryan
time
has
he
gone
was
1
on
2 from
6
long
or
range
7
in the
threes
first
game
quarter.
last year.
Here's
This
Rice.
year, he's shooting
rebound by
46%
Grant.
on threes.
He'd like that
7
one
or 8
back.
a game.
That's normally a shot he makes.
This isn't that, the thing about Jordan, when Jordan got into the later years, Jordan developed this killer mid-range game. And developed, Kobe did too. Developed this great footwork and everything like that. LeBron is developing his three-point shooting in his late 30s.
Chicago shooting their first free
I think
throws
he's
here
going to
for
stay
the
at
night.
46%, although I shouldn't assume that. He did this all last season. Why wouldn't he be shooting this well? It's also the lifeblood of the Laker offense. They need that shooting. Secondly, he's averaging
And he can't
96.
get the first one.
One of the things we love
I
about
think it
Grant
might
is
have been
how
his second year in LA.
he plays. I mean, not only that, but he plays hard and smart.
Was a total
And
year.
Miami making a
led
change
the league in
here.
assists.
Burton's checked in.
He actually
Attitude is
led the league in
everything
scoring
on
and
the
led the league in
floor.
assists,
You can
something like
tell he
14
stays
or
in a good
15 years
mindset,
apart. It's one
looking
of the
for
great
every chance he can
LeBron
get to make an
statistics that you
impact
hear.
on the
Just,
play.
his true
Good by
camp.
Rice.
Love the no hesitation shot
They
release of
probably
Glenn
want
Rice.
people to take on the
You
ball in
see
his
the
hands a little
confidence
bit.
he has, and for
They
good
need him
reason.
to play point guard. And he's averaging 96 assists.
That's short off
He's
the
also
rim.
averaging 8
Don't
rebounds.
get a lot of those.
So we're talking
chances.
about a guy
You don't want that
who
shot
is
back.
39.
Smith the pass to Cole.
He's not, you can't really say he's
Back
close
to
to triple
Smith.
double, but he's sniffing averaging triple double.
Here's
And shooting
Burton.
incredibly
Pass to
high
Cole.
efficiency.
And even
Lakers are doing well.
3-on-3 break.
Despite
Here's
having
Pippen.
a very
And
concerning
the slam
defense.
dunk by
I
Pippen.
know AD has played well,
Way
and
to
that's obviously
punch it, Scottie Pippen, the
I think
athleticism.
LeBron is being underappreciated, if that's possible, the way he's playing right now.
So,
Here's
Ron,
Cole.
and I'm talking Lakers every single day, and there are a lot of times that I don't really know how
Basket
to.
is good. He'll get a chance for
I
one
will
more
say
at
his
the line.
last 3 games, he's had 3
Muscling
triple.
that thing in. Tough shot.
And the assists that you're talking about, I'm
But
with you.
he's
I
shooting
mean, you're
his
talking
first free throw attempt on
12,
the night.
14,
And Miami
16
making a
assists
change
in a
here.
game.
Edwards is
And here
checked
I
in,
am,
and the Bulls
kind of
making a
quickly
change
breezing
also.
by that
John
and saying,
Paxson,
well, Dalton
he's checked in for
connects.
Jordan.
Wait, 7
LeBron did. LeBron at the
7 of
post-game
8 from
interview.
the field.
Yeah, he's like, well, we wrote Dalton Connect. And I was like, well, Dalton Connect did have one of the great nights of his life. AD was having an AD hit a couple of shots late in that game.
A force down low. Cycling is almost 7 feet. A solid 230 pounds. Has great touch.
Yeah, it's a good way to put it, because I'm with you. There, a lot of times I just don't know how to describe it. When something happens, you know, it's like you go to a great restaurant, and every time you go there, it's just an unbelievable restaurant, and you just start losing the value of that restaurant because it's so great every time you go. You just expect it, and then you don't pay as much attention to it when you leave. And unfortunately, I think that happens with LeBron. It happens with a lot of the greats, but what he's doing at this age, I don't think there's a description for it.
The truth is, behind closed doors, the P word became my secret sin at age 10. And for the next 17 years of my life, I did.
Here's to get your thoughts. We're 11 games in. Lakers are 7-4. Watching them every single night, I'm still trying to figure out: is this a good team?
There's 1:54 left to play in the first quarter. Now, here's Pippen.
We're watching the most important moments of the NBA this season. Down by 3, 10.2 seconds left.
And there's the drive. And he's fouled pretty hard on that shot, but he's got the chance to pick up the points at the line.
Smooth with the ball. Pippen is tremendous on the bounce.
First trip to the line for him here.
Down. This game will tie a career high with 38 points, but it didn't matter.
This is the first show for the Bulls.
For the season, currently ranks fourth in the NBA in points per game with 29.9, a massive leap up from last year's 23.9. As LaMelo is making a league-high 4.9 points a game throughout NBA history. 4 players in the 3 seasons who have averaged at least 28 points, 6 assists, and 4 rebounds. Oscar Robertson, Luka Doncic, LeBron James, and Michael Jordan.
Every team in the league.
He's mellow guy.
He's doing this after he
He's gonna be like right there, one of my favorite players.
Seemed as if he had the angle to finish, but the defense
the game's all-time best.
Which means really,
the question is
Now Armstrong.
2 years of injury
To the wing right side.
one of the worst franchises to ever
Here's
exist.
Misses the layup. He had him at that bumper.
solid defensive effort. Putting in the work to protect the hoop and disrupt his shot.
Here's
Is
Burton.
that future superstar?
Miami no good on that time either.
A tough question, but
Bulls
we're getting to
trail by
the answer.
3.
So what's up, Mike, here? And right away, I do think we need to focus on the fact that a
Outside
young
Pippen.
prospect in this
Good
league
shot. No good.
has proven to be among the elite company
For
on the
Miami,
stat
they've gone 50% from the field to this point. 4 of 8.
18 points, 6 assists, and 4 rebounds per game in their first
Plays it
4
up and banks
seasons.
it in.
Is here, and his own stats are better than
Basket of the
a
night.
Inside, one of those guys you've got to box out, or he's going to hurt you on the offensive glass.
Only Cade
5
Cunningham
seconds separating the shot
than
game of
LaMelo
outs.
in terms of win shares. So are these empty stats that are meaningless? It's
Here's
just
Pippen.
and LaMelo is facing the consequences.
Six on the
Well,
shot
Charlotte
clock.
hasn't made the playoffs since 2016. They have never, as a franchise,
And it's
reached
off the
the
back
Eastern
rim,
Conference
no
Finals,
good.
and they have not been out of the first round since 2002. When it
Here's
comes to their
Branderson.
team history as
Counts
a
the
whole,
bucket, coming off a perfectly placed assist. And
SoFi is the next generation of banking to help you tackle your divisions. With SoFi checking and savings, you can earn more money on your money in an account.
Very few easy points.
You'll even score an epic welcome bonus and get access to additional FDIC insurance up to $2 million. That's pretty good. Open a bank account worth celebrating. Hey, nice hair. Thanks, Justin.
Hornets' all-time leaders in win shares are Kemba Walker, number 1, Gerald Wallace, 2, Muggsy Bogues, 3, Larry Johnson, 4, and Del
And
Curry,
we
Steph
welcome you
Curry's
back to Game
dad,
4
number
on
5.
2K
Del was a great
Sports.
shooter, It's concerning that he
Let's
ranks
take a
5th on
moment
this
here to
list
get your
ahead of
guys' take
Cody
on
Self.
scoring so
Also
far
been
for
a
the Heat.
terrible
They've done a great
They had
job
just 27
facilitating
in
so far.
2023 and
Moving the rock
21 in
finding an open man.
2024. However, in
Selfless
2022,
Something else they're doing
made the
well
All-Star
tonight,
team in
guys.
just his
Lots of
second
points in the
season.
paint.
Charlotte did
Something to
win
continue
42
to keep
games.
our eye
Should
on.
begin to build around a center team until we have
The Heat leading by 7.
horrendous situation.
And it's going to be out of bounds. The Bulls will take it. Chicago making a switch here. Livingston's checked in.
Teams are not going to mind their terrible history if LeBron is a top
Jordan
5
with
player in this league in the
on the
future.
board.
If he is really a superstar, you can build a franchise around
Here he goes. Here's King. Nice work on the board. He's paying off with the basket.
Crashing the offensive glass with power. King. This is why you got to put a body on him.
This season.
To Atkins. Here's Burton. He's now 1 for 2 with that bucket. And so Jordan will bring it out for the ball. 7-point differential. Coming to this one after losing on Sunday.
It simply came down to their inability to get enough shots to fall in that last game. Their chances were there for them, but they didn't convert.
Sometimes a few shot misses here or there make all the difference. They know they'll have better luck in the future.
Just 2 to shoot. The Bulls keep it alive.
Is his offense shows that for the 2025 season so far, the Hornets have an offensive rating of 112.8 and an effective field goal percentage
It's deflected.
53.6%.
Really good timing to be able to erase the shot.
And there's the call on Michael Jordan.
16th in the NBA.
That is his first foul of the game. Watson is checked in for the Heat. Then for the Bulls. Cartwright's checked in for Livingston. And it's Hastings in for Armstrong. Here's Burton. 7-point game, the biggest lead in the game.
Clearly, he got it, no doubt.
Good job by the official. Yes.
We
are giving credit to the official.
Miami shooting their second and third shots at the line right here.
Games is a good question. With that said, I have a question for you. When did Steph Curry make his first All-Star team?
So after making the first, he goes 1 for 2.
Yes, despite the fact that
Bulls
Steph
trail
did
by
play
8.
3 years in college at Davidson. It was not until years
And the
later that
foul
Steph made the
called on
All-Star
Edwards.
team. But then in year 6,
That's his first foul.
MVP and a champion. Now you may be immediately thinking, no, it's not Steph Curry. But how do we know that? Is such a terrible
We're closing in on 2 minutes play here in the second quarter. Hastings, the basket and the jam by Bill Cartwright.
Very physical play by Cartwright. Defense just doesn't want to get in the way.
The Heat leading by 6. And the Heat call time here.
During that year, those are not the numbers of a future all-time generational talent. And because of this, Golden State was able to sign Steph to a dirt cheap deal. $44 million, which even at that point in time was $16 million less than the max.
So to start the season, one of the biggest surprises has to easily be the Cleveland Cavaliers. 13 games into the new year, and Cleveland finds himself not only at the top of the entire NBA, but also haven't lost a game yet. Yes, a 13-0 start to the season not only means that Cleveland could potentially be a legitimate title contender as the year progresses, but also this is one of the best starts to the season that we've seen from any team in NBA history. And what I found even more interesting is that this isn't a team that was just solely depending on their defense like they have been over the past 2 seasons. Offensively is where the improvement has been monumental. The Cavs have the second best offense in the NBA.
We're now about 2 minutes into the second quarter. Edwards can't hit. Bulls trail by 6.
As well. And because of these numbers, they're really going to be more exactly who the Cleveland
Here's
Cavaliers
Hastings.
dominant and not exactly who they're going to lose their first game. Now, there's nothing to say like 0 4 points. Many of you will be upset with me.
Paxson outside. Shoots over Graham. Hastings, the pass to Paxson. And it's out of bounds. The Heat will take it the other way. Horace Grant, he's checked in for Chicago. Pippen comes in for Paxson.
Sample size that, in all honesty, could just be chalked up to a very
by 6.
in the Eastern Conference. There's only 3 teams that are above 500. You're one of those teams.
Quarter 2 and just under 2.5 minutes gone by.
Best player, and there's only 1 game above 500.
Here's
They just
Sunvold.
happen to have a schedule that is front-loaded with a lot of really bad teams.
Rice passes to Sunville.
They have been able to beat some competent teams that are out in the Western Conference.
And they recover.
Lakers and even the Knicks. So they do have some really good wins under their belt, and those are the games that start to watch a little bit more to get a better understanding of what exactly they do well. But it is undeniable.
So far
Yeah,
in the second quarter.
that is.
That's a long way out there, but you know what? The shot he knows he can make.
Best ability is availability. As corny and cheesy as it sounds, the truth of the matter is
Yeah,
that
to Sunville.
Cleveland was not able to exceed the threshold of 50 wins is simply because their core wasn't able to build enough reps alongside one another.
Here's Rice.
That translated into wins. Last year, Donovan Mitchell
Gonna be
only
out of
played
bounds.
55
The
games,
Bulls will
Garland 57, and
John Paxson, he's checked in for Chicago.
77 throughout the season. By the time we got into the postseason, even he missed some of those important games as well. And so because of the amount of time that was missed with their
Bulls have gone only 2 of 7 from the field since the second quarter got underway.
Last season. And so
Takes it in. Here's Hastings.
Basically at the halfway
Miami
mark,
grabs the
they
miss.
played just last year.
Cycler's got 4 rebounds in this game.
Players that have just recently been pieced together, especially for the young players in
And
Harlem
just
and
over 3.5 minutes played here in the second quarter. Ryan again turning it over.
Really starting to see early in the season. And even though this is a very simple
We've got
approach,
1:23 left in the first half.
Cleveland, it's all very important because how these four players
and another steal for him.
You can effectively have a wild right and a dynamic
guarded by Paxson. And a fast break for the Bulls. Here's Cartwright. And again, no good by Chicago.
Can't do this. But now, giving head coach Kenny Atkinson that type of power, which is an identity that he has been thriving with for years, getting back to coach for the Brooklyn Nets, focusing on to you, getting really good results. Now, how exactly do they do this? Trying to be as
51 seconds left in the second quarter.
That pass a little careless, and the defense capitalized.
A lot of shots. Now, I promise, I'm not trying to simplify this.
They've gone 2 of 4 at the free throw line.
In this offense that is certainly benefiting certain players, in particular Evan Mobley, who the Cavaliers are just much more liberal with his ability.
And he makes the first. The Heat making a switch here. Edwards is checked in.
Spacing is possible by initiating offense with him at the top of the key rather than at the post or at the elbow. Atkinson has picked up a lot of these sets within his time in Golden State, coaching alongside Steve Kerr and with Draymond Green. And you can clearly see a lot of those Kevin Garnett comps that many people gave to Mobley early on in the season are on full effect. He seems much more comfortable, much more versatile, and just way more confident in his ability.
Here's Cycling. He is guarded by Cartwright. Here's Hastings. Pippen, the pass to Hastings. Back to Pippen. With the drive. And he drops in the layup off the glass. Pippen's got 5.
You know, one of the best aspects of Pippen's game, in my mind, creating off the dribble.
Here's Cole. Still scoreless. With 1 on the clock. And that's it for the first half of action in what's been a very close game here. Heat lead by 4. And we've got more action coming your way after this break.
Like a 40 to near 50% clip. I was right. Cavaliers lead the league in three-point accuracy at 41%. And even though they don't attempt that many threes, because how accurate they are, it just feels like an avalanche. And in particular, Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, Karis LeVert, Isaac Okoro, and Ty Jerome all make their threes at a 40% clip or higher. And again, when you're watching these games, it certainly feels that way as well. It just feels like there's an avalanche of three-point shooting that is just bombarding any team in the NBA. And when they're hot, they are hot, and it's practically impossible to keep up with them. The Warriors saw this firsthand. After the first half, the Cavs shot 63% from behind the arc, making 14 threes in just 2 quarters. And Ty Jerome couldn't literally miss a three. He was perfect from the field. So what's even scarier is that there's certain players on this team that are really good three-point shooters that have just started the season very slow, like Gordon Yang and also Dean Wade. They could easily start making their threes at a higher clip. And that will be even more players that are shooting at a ridiculously high accuracy. Another huge part of the equation is Darius Garland. Not going to hold you. Garland right now is amazing. He's not averaging a ridiculous amount of points. He's actually only averaging 20 points per game and getting around 6.5 assists, which his passing and playmaking has always been there, but it's even more improved when you have the level of floor spacing that is constantly surrounding him. In particular, though, the shooting splits are just ridiculous. 53% from the field, 45% from behind the arc, and 89% from the charity stripe. These numbers across the board were even better early on in the season. He's had a couple of games that have been a bit hit or miss, at least in contrast to what he did early on. But when I say he's making shots at an abnormal rate, he's making shots at an abnormal rate. It's actually very, very impressive. The one thing that's really stood out to me while I was watching his games is that his floater is just impeccable right now. Every single time Garland got within that in-between game and just put some up, a put shot, a floater, it was going in at a really high clip. Bro, according to Second Spectrum, Garland is making his floaters at about a 75% clip. 75%. Now, to be completely transparent, tracking numbers aren't always accurate because the definition or how you define a floater in contrast from one player to another certainly goes up in the air. But when you're watching Garland, it certainly feels like that in-between game, he is making those at a very, very high clip, which is a great development for who he is as a player on a team that at times deals with spacing issues because a lot of defenses are willing to concede that tough layup, that tough floater to any ball handler in the NBA. But when you're making them at this clip, it does start to play a really good cat and mouse game between Garland and the defender when he's coming off of a screen that the Cavs are winning at this point at a really, really high rate. And in my opinion, that is probably the biggest difference maker with the team offensively. The more involved Evan Mobley with the much needed improvement of Darius Garland has really put this team over the top. And again, this goes back to the ability to kind of just stagger minutes. And so even though, yes, Kenny Atkinson and his coaching staff does have to be a little bit more creative when all four of them are on the floor because Evan Mobley and Allen, they do muck up the spacing a little bit. A lot of this kind of just results into a lot of transition points, which is a sidebar. Again, when I was watching these games, I was like, bro, they get out of transition and they get it up. They just run because they know in a half-court set they're probably not going to get the greatest look when Mobley and Allen are on the floor, even though this offense is very creative. And so because of it, they just love to run in transition. However, when they get out in transition, bro, they're making those shots also at a really, really high clip. And I went to go look at the numbers, and it all translates as well. The Cavaliers are arguably the best transition team in the NBA, and in particular with Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland. Those two are converting their transition possessions at a rate that is similar to Giannis right now. It's crazy.
How do you invest in crypto without overwhelming your portfolio? You do it little by little with bits of Bitcoin. When you invest with Acorns, crypto is just a topping on your overall investments. We sprinkle bits of Bitcoin on top of an already diversified portfolio tailored to your long-term financial goals. Because when you invest in Bitcoin and bits through a Bitcoin ETF, you could ride its highs and its lows. Invest in bits of Bitcoin with Acorns.
It's the season for holiday deals at Best Buy. The savings ends soon.
So when you pair all of this improvement, more involvement, creativity with the offense, with the excellence of Donovan Mitchell, who is just one of the best tough shot makers in the NBA, as well as Jared Allen, who is one of the best lob threats in the NBA, and an improved bench, in particular with Karis LeVert, who has been revitalized under Kenny Atkinson once more, and three-point shooting across the board that is much needed, especially with Isaac Okoro. The offense is just flowing at a level in which I don't think too many people anticipated. And then on the defensive side of the floor, bro, they're still great. Like Isaac Okoro, because now he's shooting at a 40% clip from deep. He plays more minutes. He's a very impactful POA. He's really good off ball as well. Just constantly having two, not one, but two really good rim protectors on the floor all the time is amazing. And the one thing that I really do love about both Allen and Mobley on the defensive side of the floor is that they've already established themselves as a certain type of defender, but they don't really get the true credit on how versatile they are on that side of the floor. Mobley is praised constantly for his versatility, switchability, and how mobile he is in open space, in particular with his ability to kind of roam around. But this year, there certainly seems to be a bit more attention to detail when it comes to rim protection and post play. That is translated to him being slightly improved in those regards. And then Jared Allen, who in my opinion, I think is really underrated. And I think a lot of people just don't give him credit for what he does because how much they may lust over Mobley's defense. But Jared Allen, the better rim protector, the better rebounder, the better post defender. But I've seen Allen in space this year. He's really, really good, moves his feet, and when players are driving to the basket, he rides their hips just as good as any wing in the NBA. He's actually really, really good. I have to give a lot of credit to Jared Allen. I did not know that he was that smooth and very mobile in space. I did not believe that at all. So when you have a really good defined defense as well as an offense with a slight bit of more creativity and the availability of your four best players, and also a very weak schedule, it's not the biggest surprise that the Cavaliers are started out the season 13-0. But the biggest question I'm pretty sure many of you all are wondering, when are they going to lose? They have some pretty tough teams, but I'll be honest with y'all, they can come close to beating the Warriors record they set in 2016. 24-0 is very impressive. I had to say it's very, very impressive. But looking at this schedule, they can skate around a team or two. They can get really, really close. I don't know if they're going to beat it, but they can get really, really close. I'm recording this video right after they got done beating the Philadelphia 76ers. Their next two games, Chicago Bulls, Charlotte Hornets. Bulls, Hornets, feisty teams, especially Chicago. A lot of talent on that roster going underneath the radar. But these are two teams that should lose, especially Charlotte. They don't have the size, don't have the defense to really compete with them. I think that they're going to be able to win those two games as well. Then we get to the matchup that everybody wants to know. Boston at TD Gardens. So an away game against the defending champion Boston Celtics. This is where things are going to be very, very interesting. But that is the game that I do believe that they should lose. It's not only against the defending champions, but it's also away. But if they do win that game, though, oh, that would be a treat right now. Because after that, they have a beat-up New Orleans team.